Shalom, y'all. My name is Jane Goldie Wynn, and I'm the author of Rainbow in the Night, A Journey of Redemption. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that at the end. But what I'm doing is a series on YouTube talking about musings while quarantine. I went away a few weeks ago for a writing retreat, and I just felt to just sort of sit down and write about everything that we've learned during this time, because it was definitely an unprecedented time, and it continues to be. And anything that we can learn, which may be helpful to other people, would be a wonderful thing. So I'm just going to share with you. I'm going to be reading, but I already talked about stage 1 and stage 2 that we had to navigate, and now this is stage 3. And for us, stage 3 was accepting the reality that we would need to stay quarantined at home. And just to refresh your memory, stage 2 was how to navigate this new normal, which was suddenly thrust upon us. And stage 1 was fear of the unknown and many unanswered questions. And they are all on my YouTube channel if you didn't get a chance to see them. But today is accepting the reality that we would need to stay quarantined at home. So this wasn't as difficult for Dave, as he is a homebody and a hermit at heart. Since I am an extrovert and a people person, I really struggled for the first 2 weeks. I was used to working and coming and going as I pleased, and suddenly I was forced to stay at home. I wasn't sure how that would even work for Dave and me, as we both needed our space and we would probably need to compromise. Thankfully, we came up with a plan that worked for both of us, and eventually we would fall into a routine. The government had eventually extended the stay at home for 30 days instead of 15 to stop the spread of COVID-19. People were getting very anxious as to how they would pay bills when money wasn't coming in during this time, and many people weren't working. The government came up with some stimulus money and special unemployment to help people get through this forced nationwide shutdown. Thankfully for us, we had just finished paying off our debt, so the money we lost while losing all of our shows, the win-win situation, performing in senior facilities, offset the money we no longer had to pay towards the debt. So thankfully, between our Social Security checks and other miscellaneous income, we were able to still pay all of our bills, and we were very grateful for that, to the Lord's amazing provision during this time, because there really was a lot of uncertainty. And I think, this stage was very challenging, and especially for me, because I just remember waking up every day and saying, oy vey, another day, what do I do? I'm sort of used to structure, and suddenly there was no structure. And I'll talk about next time as we go through the next stage and how eventually I came to peace with it. But it really is a process and not an event. And I think more than anything, what I've learned in all of this is that if I seek the Lord and His righteousness, He will add everything onto us that we have need of in Matthew 6:33. And that's the whole key. I love the scripture, Matthew 6:25 all the way through to 33, because those are scriptures that I believe deal with anxiety. Because, we can be faced with a lot of anxiety when we don't know what tomorrow will bring. But we're so grateful that we can trust the Lord for each and every day. And He promises us that He will never, ever leave us nor forsake us. So I hope that you will carry that in your hearts, and that, perhaps you'll sit down and write some of the thoughts and feelings that you've had during this pandemic and what you've learned, and you can maybe pass it along to other people. But I think for me personally, it was just very helpful to look at all these different stages and how we moved from one to the other. And one of the cool things that Dave and I started to do was just set up some traditions that really worked for us. So a certain time every day, we happened to find Neil Sedaka, believe it or not, on YouTube, and we just started watching. He started to do these mini concerts, because all these entertainers, just like us, were no longer able to do their regular entertaining in big shows, and so a lot of them took to Facebook Live, YouTube to do their entertaining. So that became just a wonderful little routine, and then after that we would just have a time of prayer together and read a devotional, and it just became something we really continue to look forward to every day. So I think that's what's important. You just have to establish something that works for you during this time. So next time we'll talk about stage 4, which will be gratefulness and focus on a simpler way of life, because that's really what it was all about. You know, our lives could get so complicated, and I don't think we realize it when we're in the throes of busyness, but suddenly when we're forced to be quiet and be still and know that He is God, we really have to look at what is really important and set our priorities. And I think that's really key for us. So anyway, I wanted to mention again, Rainbow in the Night, Journey of Redemption. And this is a book that I wrote of my own life story, and I told it in a very transparent and vulnerable way, because I really think that it's very important that I need to be honest about everything that I've experienced in life, even the tough times, the painful journeys. And I'll be talking about that more in future YouTubes. But I think that, you know, if I can share some of the painful things that I've been through and how I've been able to work through them and get through to the other side, then that can give you hope too, that you can move through a painful past and really experience true freedom in your life, because that's what it's all about. He whom the Son sets free is free indeed. And I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to write the book and to experience the freedom in my life today, and to offer hope to others who may be needing it. If you want more information, you can go to my website, which is JaneGoldieWinn, WINN.com. So I want to thank you for tuning in today, and I just hope that you will stay safe, that you'll take good care of yourself, that you'll do something nurturing and life-giving every single day, so that you will feel better, because I know it's really a struggle, and we do have to get through each and every day with the Lord's grace. So I'm here for you. If you need me, you can email me. That's also on the website. But I just hope that you will stay safe. That's what's most important. Wear those masks and keep that social distancing. So I want to thank you again for tuning in today, and say shalom, y'all.